Proud to work in oil and gas.
Oil and gas industry workers rallied outside the state capitol to fight new restrictions on their industry on a day when people were warned about being outside in Denver's poor air quality. A government study found oil and gas operations are responsible for about a third of the Front Range's ozone pollution issues, about the same as traffic. Today's air quality issues were for airborne particulate pollutions. Our partners, the Fort Collins Coloradan, report that Denver ranks 15th in the U.S. for the number of ozone pollution days per year. While those energy workers gathered outside, inside, supporters of increasing regulations on oil and gas shared their stories at the Capitol.
Everyone ended up inside a committee room and 4 overflow rooms because nearly 400 people signed up to testify. 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles has been there from the start. Jennifer.
Hi there, Kim. Yeah, well, this started at 2 o'clock this afternoon. 8 hours in, testimony is still going on. Senate Bill 181 was just introduced last week. This is its very first hearing, and we've heard emotional testimony throughout the day from people who support this bill, who said they're very concerned about public health and communities' health, and also people who are against this bill, who say they're concerned about the oil and gas industry's future and their futures.
I guess my main concern is I have many stories about how it has impacted the health and safety of students that I teach.
I believe that this bill considers the state's duty to be a guardian of Colorado's natural resources and the health of our communities, while also ensuring a role for local expertise and decision-making on oil and gas issues if a community chooses to accept that responsibility.
Erin Martinez, who lost her husband and brother in the 2017 Firestone explosion, also testified today in support of this bill. The Democratic-sponsored legislation would increase regulations on the oil and gas industry, give more power to local governments, reduce the power of energy companies on the state board that oversees regulation, and under this bill, public health interests would be considered over the interests of the oil and gas industry. It would not be an equal thing. Again, here's some more people who are against this bill.
I've heard testimony today saying that if possible, they would stop all oil and gas activity where I work. And that does threaten my job here. I implore the committee to think about that, me and the thousands of other people that work in this area.
And I'd just like to point out how I am opposed to the Senate Bill 181 because it will completely ruin our housing market.
Also worth noting, back in November, voters rejected Prop 112, which had drilling setbacks. Now, while that is different than what they are discussing today, it is something many opponents have brought up as they talk about the will of the voters and the will of the people in Colorado. So again, guys, testimony going late into the evening. We have no idea how long this is going to go, but certainly an issue people on both sides feel very passionate about, willing to stay at the Capitol late into the evening.
Yeah, different approaches, a uniform setback versus local control, but understandably people feel like we just talked about this back in November. All right, Jennifer, thank you.